Okay, so we are continuing our football club history series, and we are staying in Switzerland as promised. Now, we've gone and covered the big five in Swiss football who've won the majority of the silverware. We just looked at BSC Young Boys, who are one of the oldest clubs in Switzerland and one of the most successful clubs in Switzerland, based in Bern. We're going across Switzerland again to a place called St Gallen, which is a reasonable size city in Switzerland. And we're looking at FC St Gallen, who are the oldest club in Switzerland, and in fact one of the oldest football clubs in the world. They go back to 1879 when they are founded, so they are a very, very historical club. Their new stadium is called the Kaiben Park, where they've been since 2008. That currently has a capacity of 19,694. It's a lovely modern little stadium, pretty reasonable size. Not the biggest stadium we've seen in Switzerland, but it's a pretty reasonable size for the population size of St Gallen and the club that plays there. Now, as I said, they are the oldest club in Switzerland, founded in 1879. In 2016, they became a member of a very exclusive group of football clubs globally called the Club of Pioneers. Now, I've only recently found out about the Club of Pioneers. I will do a separate video on the Club of Pioneers, but the Club of Pioneers was founded in 2013 by Sheffield FC, who are the oldest football club in England. People say it should be Nottingham Forest, Notts County, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, all these football clubs. But Sheffield FC are the oldest club in continuous existence in England. I think one of the oldest football clubs in the world. And you have to reach certain criteria. So you have to, be the oldest club in your nation and be basically consistently playing every season that your league has been available to play. Because in certain countries, football was suspended during the First and Second World War, for example. So, St Gallen became members of this exclusive club of historic football clubs called the Club of Pioneers back in 2016. Now, they have spent several periods outside the top flight in Swiss football. Most recently, at the end of the 2007-2008 season, they were relegated out of the top flight, and the 2010-2011 season, after their brief return, they were relegated again outside the top flight. For most of their existence, they've been a solid mid-table side. However, they have got some silverware. They have won some league titles. They have won a Swiss Cup, and they've won a Swiss League Cup as well. I didn't put down their second-tier titles when they get promoted back to the top flight, and I didn't put down all their runners-up. They could have actually won more league titles, more domestic cup competitions as well. They've come up short in finals and in the regular season in the league a fair few times. But their trophy haul is limited. It is limited. But they do have trophies. And as I said, the Swiss League is ironically very, very competitive. The league title is actually spread around more clubs than you think. And the various cup competitions are spread around more clubs than you think. And St Gallen have played in European competition by virtue of 3 of their 4 trophies that they've won. They have qualified for Europe and have played in the Champions League. They've played in the Europa League. They've played in the Old Cup Winners' Cup. So let's have a look at their very brief trophy history. So they first win the league in 1903-1904. So it takes them a little while to actually become league champions from foundation. But bearing in mind, the big 5, as we've already covered, dominate the Swiss League when it comes to league titles, but they've won 2. So 1903-1904 is their first piece of major silverware. They don't win the league again until right at the end of the 20th century in the 99-2000 season, and that is actually their last major trophy, so a long time between drinks there. However, in between winning their first league title and their second league title, they've won a couple of cup competitions. They won the Swiss Cup in the 68-69 season, and they won the Swiss League Cup in the 77-78 season. And as I say, for most of their existence, they've been a pretty solid mid-table side in Swiss football, but they've managed to win 4 major trophies, and they have appeared in Europe. Their win percentage in Europe isn't great. They haven't had like a run like a semi-final of a European Cup kind of run, which was obviously what Young Boys did in the 50s. But they're a pretty solid Swiss side for the level that is Swiss football with the modern day UEFA coefficient. And yeah, they've got 4 trophies in their trophy cabinet. But the really interesting thing is their foundation date being really, really early. There's a lot of English and Scottish clubs that are not as old as St Gallen. And the fact that they are a member of the Club of Pioneers, which is a very, very exclusive grouping of football clubs that are very, very historical. And, well, there are certain criteria in order to enter the club of pioneers, of which St Gallen do meet by their age and their continuous existence. So there is a little brief history of St Gallen. Yes, they have spent various spells outside the Swiss top flight, but they've managed to get 4 major trophies in their existence, including 2 league titles, which shows that the big boys of the big 5 that we have covered in Switzerland don't win every season. There are the occasional story of a club like St Gallen winning some silverware and having some pretty good sides and some good players. So there we go. There's a brief history of St Gallen. I'm surprised. I mean, I was amazed doing the research that they are the oldest club in Switzerland and they are a member of the Club of Pioneers. There will be a video on the Club of Pioneers later this summer. I've got to do a bit more research on the Club of Pioneers and the member clubs that constitute the current makeup of the Club of Pioneers. But that's a fun little bit of sporting history and sporting culture that I think goes overlooked. And there are some big clubs in the Club of Pioneers, and there's some lesser known clubs like Sheffield FC in the Club of Pioneers, who are currently in the non-league, obviously, in England. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on FC St Gallen below. You may have seen them play European games. They have appeared on televised games in the past, and they've had some great players actually play for them. If you look at their historical squads and you go through some of the players that have worn the green of FC St Gallen over the years, there are some great players who have actually played for the club who've gone on to bigger and better things. But from me, for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below. If you are a fan of FC St Gallen, put in some of the fun facts that I've overlooked or not covered. And if you've seen them play, what was your experience of watching them play either at home or away in Europe? Because they have had some European appearances. But from me, for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more content for you guys very, very soon.